Heyo everybody, Haku here, and welcome to this week's review of Mahou Shoujo Ikusei Keikaku, or Magical Girl Raising Project, and we are on episode 11, so only one more episode until the end of the series. It is, man, it's going to be hard seeing it go already. Before getting into this one, I feel like with this anime, this episode, I don't want to call it predictable, but it kind of was a bit of a thing, but predictability isn't necessarily bad. I've seen a lot of YouTubers and stuff talk on whether predictability is bad or not, and it depends on the situation. I'd say in this situation, with the very, very finite set of characters we have, you should be able to know the characters, know their motivations, know the kind of things they do, and understand what they may do in the future. So I think predictability in a show like this is not bad, and in fact, if the writing is strong enough, you should be able to predict somewhat of what's going on, because if it was all shocks and way out of left field, then that'd kind of be bad writing, because it wouldn't fit with what the characters had already built themselves. So I think the show has done pretty well with that. Also, breaking this thing down part by part, first off, we see that there is a demon summoned for a Magical Girl Raising Project test, a final exam, and Cranberry is the only survivor that takes it down, and that is presumably the thing we saw at the very first episode that we're finally calling back to and getting some clarification on it. So that's really cool that that's a bit of her backstory. I'd still like to see her in human form, though. But that was really cool. And it's cool, too, to note that Cranberry is not the start of the warped, messed up Magical Girl Raising Project tests. Fav was already doing it before Cranberry, because he said, you know, if you team up with me, you're strong, we can keep doing crazy tests like this, I'm tired of the normal tests or whatever. And she goes along with it because she wants to fight strong opponents. So this shows that Fav, or whoever Fav may be really working for, has already been acting on this before this test, has already been doing some crazy stuff with warping the system. Also this morning I saw, I think it was Andrea Zapita, they commented on one of the earlier reviews saying it's weird going back and rewatching, like, just when everything was so different from how it is now. And I'm bringing that up because watching the opening this episode, I thought the same thing. I wrote it in my notes. I was like, it's so weird and so sad watching the opening to this, knowing that of these 16 characters, there are only 5 left alive. Like, that is pretty crazy. Starting the actual real content of the episode, we get back into the fight with Cranberry against Swim Swim and Tama. Now, they all three really have pretty powerful abilities when it comes to combat, but Cranberry is able to pretty easily maneuver around Swim Swim's attacks and find a weakness for her, and she uses her power to control sound to essentially nuke Swim Swim with sound. Then Tama scratches Cranberry in the back, which leads to the coolest death, in my opinion, so far in the series. Just the way that they animated and showed it, like, just because her power is to dig holes, that one little scratch just spread apart, open, and tore apart her body. That was the coolest looking death we've had so far. Like, that looked really awesome. And also it kind of signaled a shift in an opposite direction from what I was thinking before, because Cranberry has sort of played a background role this entire series. She hasn't really been in the forefront of the fighting, barely at all really, but she's been manipulating things behind the scenes a lot. I figured towards the end, like right at the end, she would take down Swim Swim, who is our most evil, bad, antagonistic character, and set herself up as the final big bad, but rather we had the opposite, where Cranberry manipulated it all from the background, where Swim Swim's been doing the bad stuff up front and personal, and she actually was the one, through Tama, who took down Cranberry, allowing herself sort of to take the role of that main final antagonist. Also, I 1000% called Tama getting turned on and killed. I said before, I'm pretty sure I've said plenty of times before, that I'm expecting Tama to die. That's why I was trying not to get too attached, even though I do, looking back and seeing her backstory, think Tama was one of my favorite characters. I was trying not to get too attached because I knew she was going to die. because of this sort of show. This sort of show always punishes true good or true innocence. So the difference between that and, say, Snow White is Snow White's good. She's always trying to help other people, but she's questioned it before. And she's questioned it before, she's gone back on some things, she's really thought about whether she wants to be or not. Whereas I would say Sister Nana, Nemarine, and Tama were more true good, where they never really thought about it. They never really thought about what benefited them over everybody else. They wanted to do what they thought was good, and try to save people, even though Tama was messed in with the wrong crowd. They always, almost naive in a way, especially on Sister Nana's part, where it was just true good. There was never any thought to doing anything other than good. And that is usually punished in these sorts of shows. But there's more of an arc when it comes to Snow White, where she's good, she thinks about it, and she ends up being good as well. But there's an arc to it, and that's why it's a bit of a different kind of good. But I definitely called it that Tama would get betrayed and killed by Swim Swim when she was killed, because I figured she would be. Then we have her flashback, and I really laughed out loud. I thought it was hilarious seeing Ruler's papers for, like, being magical girls for dummies. I thought it was so freaking funny. I love the scene with Ruler in the flashback. Then Fav tries to give info to Swim Swim, but Swim Swim is, as Cranberry noted, even though she's incredibly talented, I think that may have been the word she used, even though she's incredibly talented, even though her power is extremely useful, she's probably one of the least strong, and that's sort of like a willpower kind of strong. She pretty much always listens to what other people say a lot of the time. She really has only been doing what she thought would make her a princess, what she thought she heard Ruler say before. Really, she is maybe one of the weakest mentally and willpower-wise magical girls, even if she is very strong technically and has a very good power and ability. Now, of course, Fav realizes this, which is why later on Fav goes and almost tries to dump her off by making her meet with Ripple, who wants to kill her. Or at least either dumping her off or seeing if she is that strong, and if Fav has to just deal with her. Because she is obviously not the master that Fav wants, compared to what Cranberry was. So basically, we see Ripple is seeing some shit. And I think that, like I said before, that she was 100% going to be, if there's only one standing, the last one standing, and a bit of a heroine in the end. I said that she was going to be the one that was definitely going to stand up against this system that's going on here. And the OST with Ripple there is very, very nice. The OST overall this episode was very nice. Then we have Snow White still struggling with Lapusel, Nana, and Alice's deaths. And it's a really beautiful sequence we got there. Honestly, probably my favorite sequence in the show so far was the one with Snow White and all of her regrets and thinking back and everything. Then we see that Ripple is like, I have to kill Swim Swim, so Fav shows up to give Snow White and Ripple some weaknesses for Swim Swim, almost as if he's trying to dump her off, trying to get her killed by Ripple, because he knows, like Cranberry said, she isn't strong enough like Cranberry was. She has had very favorable circumstances. She's had a lot of people die for her. She's gotten by not on actually fighting people, but on ambushing them or killing them by surprise. And when it comes down to it, she's very easily overwilled. So, Swim Swim obviously isn't Fav's ideal master, it seems. Now, then we have, what I think about Ripple trying to kill her, though, I do think that Ripple is in the right. I think that revenge is not always good, but sometimes it is. I think revenge in this particular thing is good, because not only did she kill the person that Ripple wants to avenge, she also killed people after that, proving that if it's beneficial to her, she will kill innocent people again and again. Even if she's a child with warped morals, there's a place you can't really pass, and that place is killing pregnant women, killing children for your own gain. When you're killing those sorts of innocent people for your own gain, then you sort of you go to a place of irredeemable evil. Because you think Ripple has killed people, but Ripple killed people that were killing innocent people to stop them from killing innocent people. So really, that is the difference between what killing is you can come back from and still be good, and what killing makes you definitely totally evil. So, regardless of why you killed them. So basically, then I think we have, right at the very, very end, the last thing, we have an oddly placed transformation sequence. Like, I think we may have got a transformation sequence maybe for Snow White towards the beginning of the show, and maybe for some reason I think Nemarine as well. But the thing is, we have not had a just stereotypical magical girl transformation sequence like the entire show. So that was really oddly paced. I was like, what are they doing with this one? But overall, I think it was a really, really good episode. I hope they do not spare Swim Swim, because there are 3 ways I see the final episode going. And I'd say the most likely way I see it going is that Swim Swim will do something. Snow White will talk some sense into Ripple, try to get her from killing Swim Swim, and saying, no, you'll be as bad as her if you do it. But Swim Swim is so evil and so obsessed with trying to kill them and make herself a princess or whatever, that she's going to self-destruct. Not literally just blow up, self-destruct, but she's going to be her own downfall. So I think that Swim Swim will die and that she will be her own downfall is the most likely way I see it ending. Second most likely way is Ripple does get revenge and just kills her to squash this evil once and for all, and that's just it. And the third way I see it going, probably the least likely of these 3, and the one I can really see them doing, but I'm really hoping they don't do, is that Snow White tries to convince her to spare Swim Swim, and Snow White ends up dying. Like I said, the tragic heroine's death ends up dying so that Swim Swim and Ripple can live, and that Swim Swim can turn her life around. Now, the problem I see with that, even though I could see there's a very real possibility for them to do that, I do not like the idea of letting Swim Swim live after everything she's done, because if we go into future arcs, into future things like this, it is going to be pretty much impossible, because there are characters where they do terrible shit, but then they had good reasons for it and they turn themselves around and you end up liking them. I think that Swim Swim is past that part. Once you kill pregnant women and children and do it for your own gain, I don't think any amount of good she could do in the future, and I love characters that start out evil and turn good, I don't think any amount of good you can do in the future can bring Swim Swim back from where she is. So, also talking about the episode, I thought that Tama's death as well looked really, really cool. It was one of the more well-animated deaths we've had in the series. I felt like the animation this week as a whole was up from what it's been. The animation for this show's never been bad, but I definitely feel like the animation was up. It seems like it was better than it normally is this episode. Also, I think that those 2 kills this episode were the best so far. I think the soundtrack use here was amazing, and I really loved how much we got to see internal struggles from the 3 remaining characters. Now, of course, I still feel nothing bad for Swim Swim whatsoever, but I think it was good seeing their internal struggles. So overall, I thought it was really, really amazing, very close to perfect, but a part of me was just like, I didn't really want to give this one a perfect score, even though it is one of the better episodes of the show, and it was really, really good. So I'm giving it 9.5 hallucinations out of 10. So 9.5 out of 10, close to a perfect episode, but I wouldn't call it perfect. But either way, we're having this finale next week, and after that, either the week after that or 2 weeks after it, I will be doing a video on my favorite. I don't know if I'll do it like my top waifus from the show, or if it's just my favorite characters in general, because I feel like the 2 kind of go hand in hand a little bit. So it might be favorite characters or something. But either way, I'm going to rank the 16 girls from my least to most favorite. Probably 15, because I'll probably just count the Peaky Angels as one entry. Just because I pretty much hated them both. They were pretty annoying characters. Again, they were supposed to be that way, and I thought that they served their role as annoying antagonists good, but that doesn't change the fact that they were annoying characters. So yeah, I suppose that's it for this week. For the next season of anime, since we're already thinking of what we're going to do, I'm really excited for Little Witch Academia. It looks like it's going to be so good. So we're going to be covering that week to week. Also, I've had some people, or at least one person each, that said they want Yojo Senki or Seiren to be on the channel. And I'm not really that interested in either, but I've said that I might just watch and review the first episode of each, maybe the first few episodes of each, and then if I don't like it, or if you guys don't like it, or if we both don't like it, we can just drop it from the channel then. We don't really have to continue it if we don't like it, you know? So that's about it. I guess that's really all I've got here. So either way, I hope you guys enjoyed. Like if you did like the video. Comment down there. Tell me what you thought of the video. What you thought of comment down there. Tell me what you thought of my thoughts on this episode and what your thoughts on the episode were. Subscribe for more Mahou Shoujo Ikusei Keikaku and a lot more. And follow on Twitter if you want. I'll try to keep you updated there and stuff for the channel. That's it. So thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you all next time.